this is Marie, World Peas Knits, episode 35. Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, we have knitting, and then we have a little bit of sewing. We have a coffee and tea corner, and we have a gardening update at the end. And then I have a little bit of footage of some fireworks in my neighborhood. So thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to start with the works in progress, the things that I've been working on. And my first pair of socks that I was going to show is Drops Fable. And I am on the first sock. I'm using a size 2, 2.75 needle. And this is the first sock. And I've put in the waste yarn right here for the heel. So the funny thing about this sock yarn is I have another pair that I had started, and I had started it in pattern, and you couldn't even see the pattern in the yarn. So I kind of started a second pair just with my vanilla sock pattern, which is just like a plain sock pattern. It's a 2x2 rib is what you start the sock with. 64 stitches and then a 2x2 rib, so 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls all the way around. And then you just go into knitting. And this sock pattern is made just by the way that the yarn is dyed. There's the label. And the color is 911. And so since I have the one pair of socks that I had in a pattern, you couldn't even see this pattern. So it was kind of, I just decided to make another pair in this, just a plain vanilla sock, because I liked it better. So I have that pair on the needles, and then I have another pair on the needles in the same bag. This one is, get it untangled, it's Cascade Yarn Heritage Prints, and this particular one, you see the color is color number 41. So, and it has all sorts of different stripes. It's a self-striping yarn also. This is what the first sock looks like. And then I have the waist yarn. You can barely see it, but it's like right in there where I'm going to put the heel. So this is going to be like a medium high sock, not too short. And then I'm on the second cuff on this, so they're not going to match exactly. But I do like this Cascade Heritage Prints yarn. I have a few pairs of socks in this type of yarn already, and I really like it, so I thought I would make another pair. So that is what I've been working on sock wise that I haven't finished, that I'm currently working on. I got kind of interested in this one pattern, and I've been working on that a lot lately. And I'll just go ahead and show that pattern. And it's called the Scrappy Bias Shawl by Emily Clausen. And she's on a podcast called Meanwhile at the Castle. And they've made a whole bunch of these shawls, and they just make them with the scraps left over from when they knit socks. And so I thought that would be super cool to use up all of my scraps, because I have a lot of scraps. I've knit a lot of pairs of socks. And so anyway, so here is the one that I'm working on. This one is just a bag of scraps. It's kind of like a big Spud and Chloe bag. And it's full of a bunch of, let's see if I can take the shawl out. It's full of just a bunch of scraps, and then I just pick from here, you know, what I want to use next on my shawl. And so this is my shawl in progress that I've been spending a lot of time working on. Okay. So this one is pretty close to being done. Let me get this other end. So I'm using a size 6 needle. And these are 4mm or 6 and signature needles. And you can use a 32 to 40 inch circ for these circular, which is just with a cord on it, so that you can knit easily, like a longer item. So this is what it starts with. These are all just scraps, and I've woven in most of the ends. And some of them are like, these were like some Christmas minis that I had, and this is like Lolo did it, like Thanksgiving. And then there's the, I think that is the St. Patrick's Day color. Or, yeah, or it could be Christmas, but I don't see the red, so I think it's the St. Patrick's Day. But anyway, there's lots of different speckly yarns that I had in my stash. And so I'm right here. And so this particular pattern is a free pattern. And it also says that, you know, what you do is you knit up till you have 200 grams, that the scarf weighs 200 grams or shawl. And, or you can have 200 stitches on the needle. And so I'm not quite there yet, but so I finished another one of these, and I'll show that to you in the finished objects part. But when there's 200 stitches, it's about to the end of the needle. So I'm almost there on this one. I really like this one part right here. It kind of, this speckly, the pink and the speckly, and then the pink and blue again. Kind of reminds me of a birthday cake, or when I was little, my grandmother would make those angel food cakes that had the sprinkles in them, and they would be called confetti cakes, or my mom maybe would make them. I think they both made them. And so it kind of reminds me of that. So anyway, I really like this this Scrappy Bias Shawl pattern. It's really a nice pattern and easy to do. So let's see. I also thought I would insert here my works in progress. So I have a bunch of socks on the needles that I have been working on, that I pick up different socks and then I work on them, and then I put them down, and then I pick up new socks and I work on them. So I have a lot of socks on the needles, and I thought I would do like a little video of the socks that I have on the needles currently. There's a lot of Christmas ones in there, and I'll probably pick those back up again at Christmas time or just before that and work on them then. But in the middle of the summer, I don't generally like to work on the holiday socks. So anyway, I thought I would put those in here. The next thing that I have is sewing. So I think I dropped my bag. So for sewing, I had some fabric that I showed you last time, some Scooby-Doo fabric that one of my friends gave me, and I decided that I would make myself like a scrappy bag with the Scooby-Doo fabric, and this is the one that I came up with. So I've been using this. So I just put like little bits of fabric that I thought kind of matched the Scooby-Doo. So I really love it. It's super cute. And then I kind of did some different stitching around each of the areas. So, and then I did get these little labels. They're just for myself, just to put on bags that I make. So I just thought it was really cute. And then inside I just did like a, kind of like a star, snowy kind of pattern that I thought matched. So I was on vacation, and I was up in Glenwood Springs at a little restaurant getting a salad, and this little boy runs by, you know, like he's like, "Hey, Scooby-Doo," you know, like he was all super excited about it. So anyway, I just thought it's super funny. I also made my friend at work, her name's Jana, I made, and she's the one who gave me the fabric, I made her son a little bag for his like colored markers and pens. And it's a smaller bag, you know, I made it, it was the same pattern, and I made it not quite as deep, and I made it kind of small. I'll insert a picture here. Okay, so finished objects. So the first thing that I had was, I had a lady message me about how many socks I've knit, and I decided that I would take a photo of them all laid out on the kitchen table so that you could see how many pairs if you were interested. And so I thought I would put that in here. And then the next thing I have for finished objects since my last podcast is a Scrappy Bias shawl, which is another one that I had made. And I thought I would go ahead and show it here. So this is the full size, you know, finished, completed one. So it has, these are all just scraps from socks that I have made. And I think it's really cute. So you see now, this is why I wanted to make a second one, because I had so much fun making it and adding all of the different colors to it. I really like it. So that's the Scrappy Bias shawl by Emily Clausen. But you would just wear it like this, or see, just like that. All right, so the next thing that I have, and that was, I knit this on size 6 needles and just scraps from my sock making. And then the next thing that I have is a pair of fingerless mitts, and these were something I've had in my stash for a while. I've had this in my stash for a while. It's Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and it's turquoise blue and lime. I think that's what it says, yep, and lime. And what happens is you buy this set of yarn, and it's two skeins of yarn, and they're like opposites. And so I've been wanting to make a pair of fingerless mitts with it. That's what I had originally purchased it for. Let me just put them on. And so these are the mitts. This is how they turned out. So I really like them. I made them on a recent vacation that I took. So, and they didn't take very much yarn at all. So I was thinking either I could make another pair of mitts or maybe a pair of socks if I used different cuffs and toes and heels. So I'll go ahead and use that for something else. I used a size 2.75 needle on these, and I just used like these little knit picks, 5-inch double points. And what I did was I cast on 64 stitches, and I did a 2x2 rib, and then I started knitting, just regular knitting, until I wanted to make a thumb hole, which is just like a buttonhole. So I cast off 7. And then on the round above it, I picked up 7. And then I did a decrease. So the 64, I decreased, I had 4 needles going, and I knit 2 together on each of the needles one time. So I decreased by 4 stitches. So then I had 60 stitches on the needles, and then I did a 2x2 rib up to the top of the hand. So I did just knit 2, purl 2. So that it made it smaller at the top of the hand, kind of bigger for whatever coat or shirt. I kind of wore a white shirt so you could see the items today. But yeah, so this part is a little bit smaller and less bulky. All right, so I really like these. They're super cute. All right, and then the next thing that I made is a pair of socks for one of my friends. So, so I have this friend in California, and I went to high school with her. Her name's Denise, and she had messaged me a while back about knitting a pair of socks for her, and she wears a size 9. And so I decided that I would use this yarn. This is Fildar, and this yarn, I got it, you know, I was looking at this yarn, and it's made in Romania. I purchased it in Canada on vacation with my mother. And then I also used this opal pink, and it's number 5194. And I purchased this one in Estes Park, like on a past vacation. So these are the socks that I made for her. And I'm super excited to send them to her, and I was waiting just to show you first before I sent them. And I didn't block them because I don't have a sock blocker for her size foot, but I just kind of made them, they're just flat. This is how when you knit them, this is how they look before you put them on the blocker. Let me see if I can open them up so you can see them. So I hope she loves them. So they're super cute. And if, you know, if by chance they don't fit her, she'll find someone who they'll fit, maybe her mother or something. So they're super cute. I love them. And I hope she does too. I'm sure she will. So this pair of socks is going out to Denise. I'm going to ship them out maybe at work on Monday. Yeah. So, yay. All right. And the next thing that I have, is Coffee and Tea Corner. So, so I have some teas that I've been drinking. This one is called Lady Grey, and it's a black tea, and it's decaffeinated. And I really like this one for iced tea. It's really delicious. I'm trying to remember where I got it. It was either at World Market or maybe Sprouts. I think it might have been a Sprouts trip that I went on. And I also got this, which is some that I've had before, that I've shared with you before, that I really like for summer for iced tea. And it's really delicious. And this one, I think that I got it at Super Target. So I really like that one. Okay, now I have never shown one that I got and I didn't really care for. But I thought I would. It wasn't my favorite, but you know, maybe your taste may vary. So I made this into iced tea in our office, and I passed it out to a few people. I'm trying to think of how many of us. Maybe there were 4 of us that had it. I'm not sure. And my boss wouldn't taste it, but because she doesn't like butterscotch. But no one seemed to care for it, and I myself didn't really care for it as iced tea. Maybe it would be better as hot tea, but it was really butterscotchy, so your taste may vary. So you can decide for yourself if you like it or not. But I thought I would let you know about it, because normally I just show things that I like, that are my favorite, you know, and I just thought I would let you know about this one. Okay, and then the last tea that I got was by the Republic of Tea, and it was called the Queen's Evening Tea, and it was won by the Crown. And this one is a chamomile, and it has honey flavor. So, I mean, it doesn't have real honey in it, it just has flavor. But this one is delicious. So, and so for the coffee that I've been drinking, this one I got at World Market, and I've shown this one before, but this is one of my favorites. It's Cafe du Monde, and so it's from like a coffee shop in Louisiana and New Orleans, Cafe du Monde. So, yep, this one is one of my favorites. And then I have one other one that I've been drinking that I just opened up actually. It was by San Marco, and it's called Cookie Doodle. So that one's pretty good too. All right. The next thing that I'll show is my gardening update. Thanks for joining me. Bye. Are you sitting with the birds?